BlackRock has released a video announcing that the Bitcoin supply cap of 21 million can be changed. I'm going to tell you why that's mainly BS. And I'm also going to tell you why I think they're putting this out there. There's a reason to it. Before I get into those reasons, tell you the reason you need a BitBox02 hardware wallet is because it is the easiest, most simple to use hardware wallet on the market. It's about the size of a thumb drive, and if I can use it, anyone can. It takes the scariness out of self-custody. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. Also, I want to shout out to Barefoot Mining. Go to barefootmining.com. They are looking for like-minded investors and energy providers to join in as they create more wild horses in the Bitcoin mining space. Go to barefootmining.com. So yeah, here, let's just get into it. Here's the article, and here's what's spun off from it, which I'll get into why all that says, what did BlackRock say? In a recent explainer video, they share blah, 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 that there's no guarantee that 21 million won't change. So basically, BlackRock's outing themselves as saying they don't understand Bitcoin. Here's what this article says. It says, technically, it's possible. Could the supply limit be changed? Technically, it's possible, but extremely challenging. Changing the 21 million cap would require a major update called a hard fork. This would split Bitcoin's blockchain into two versions, one with the original limit and one without. However, many believe that a Bitcoin without a supply cap wouldn't be Bitcoin anymore. So yeah, it wouldn't be. But people that talk about a hard fork and it being something that is scary and something that we should be worried about truly have no idea how impossible that would be to push through. So, some of you have been around for a while, but a lot of you are new listeners to the show. So I'm trying to, also spread some information for you guys that you may not be completely aware of yet. I haven't been around since the beginning, but I can tell you that a hard fork in Bitcoin ain't going to happen. And here's what happens. Let's just say the most successful attempt ever, they push through, they create a hard fork. And you know what that does? That hard fork becomes their version of Bitcoin. You then have a copy of coins on the original chain and then on the hard fork. You could probably just dump all those ones on the hard fork, and everyone who is really a Bitcoiner is going to just keep using the original chain. Simple as that. The other thing is you have to get to fork it. To fork it, you have to get a bunch of, I forget it's more than like a 51% attack, I think. But, and again, I'm not I take the smart thing and bring it down to the dumb level. So I'm just giving you the layman's terms, average guy's notes. But you can just keep your node. You have to get your node pointing towards the new chain to signal that that's where it's going. And frankly, like anyone can run a node, so it's not going to happen. It's not like mining where it could even just like a 51% attack, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's like, well, maybe a nation state has all that power, which they don't. And maybe they have all that money to buy mining hardware, which they don't. But on a hard fork, you'd have to get all the people that truly believe in Bitcoin that are running nodes to point those nodes towards the hard fork uncapped supply. Not going to happen. For those of you that remember, you might remember the Taproot soft fork. A soft fork is where it is a version of the blockchain going forward, I believe, that has a slight variation, extra things that you can do to your transactions and whatnot. I believe for the soft fork for Taproot, it was called Schnorr signatures. Do not ask me to get into those because I barely remember. But anyways, the original chain keeps going. So I know people, I had Guy Swan on this podcast like 3 or 4 years ago to talk about the Taproot, activation. And they were trying to get enough nodes pointing towards Taproot. And that was a soft fork. It didn't change anything about Bitcoin. And it was almost impossible. It was a years long, multiple year campaign to get Taproot activated. And that was over something that everybody wanted. Like most everyone in Bitcoin was like, yeah, Taproot's fine. And it still took forever because they're resistant to change. But the node, if you're running a node, you're kind of the gatekeeper to Bitcoin. You're the gatekeeper that makes sure that none of this crap could ever come through. So BlackRock, Larry Fink, or whoever's in charge of it, like, you guys have no idea what you're messing with. I know, BlackRock, you have all the money in the world, you have all the power in the world, and blah, 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 blah. But you can't control Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. Stop trying. It's not going to happen. Now, there are some reasons as to why I think these articles are coming out. And probably more nefarious. Get a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet before I get into that. But long story short, you're not going to be able to hard fork it. Somebody's going to create a fork, go fork off in the corner. like, good luck. Have fun with it. Go make your fork. Nobody's going to follow you. And then you'll have wasted your time, your money, your efforts. So yeah, it's not going to happen. So if you're new to Bitcoin, relax. It's not going to happen. Now, here's why I think they come out, because BlackRock is not stupid. And this is, to me, a PR campaign. Because, for example, if you Google BlackRock Bitcoin, the top stories come up, and here's the headlines. Forbes, BlackRock just quietly confirmed a devastating Bitcoin price bombshell. Bitcoin developer clears air. Why BlackRock's Bitcoin explainer is raising alarm bells. BlackRock has a new Bitcoin video ad, and Bitcoiners hate it. Is Bitcoin's 21 million supply limit a lie? BlackRock's controversial take. BlackRock's it's just on and on. I think this is their PR campaign to start shifting momentum and shift general public opinion on the supply cap. I think their target is to convince enough people one day, 50 years from now maybe, to point their node in the direction of the fork that they take it in that doesn't have a supply cap. And they'll give reasons as to why. So if I'm BlackRock and I'm trying to get into a situation where I can protect the money printer and all the money that it's going to make me, and you see something like Bitcoin that, takes that power away, I might think to myself, well, I got to figure out how to convince enough people to activate this hard fork with no supply cap that I want. I got to figure that out, or I'm screwed. And how do you start? You start by planting seeds. Seeds like this article that just says, is like, they know it's not going to change. But they're like, is Bitcoin's 21 million supply fixed? I don't know. Maybe it can be changed. Because it goes into the articles and it's like, no, it's not going to happen because, Bitcoiners are stubborn and Bitcoiners are resistant to change and blah, 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 blah. But I think their goal right now is to just have that floated out there. Then it'll be followed up with like some PR pieces of like, hey, that wasn't such a bad idea. What do you think? Let's do that idea, that BlackRock, that Larry Fink. Let's do what they were talking about. There'll be some articles that'll come out and start attacking it from that angle and say, like, so they introduce the problem. They introduce the problem first, offer a potential solution that everyone will hate, and then land where they really want to be. So, I think the next move would be that they would start buttering people. I think it'll be for a while. They'll be buttering people up. Like the 21 million supply, isn't fixed. Like, so, like you should, might as well just ignore Bitcoin because it doesn't have a fixed supply like it said it did. And then 3 years from now, whenever you're running a node, they're gonna be like, hey, remember how we said that like it doesn't have a supply, like a fixed supply? It's like, we're gonna just move to this new chain that like it doesn't have a fixed supply either, but like Bitcoin never had a fixed supply. So let's not worry about it. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do. That's where they're trying to move us, not us, the hardcore Bitcoiners that are listening to the Bitcoin Made Simple podcast. They're trying to move general public perception towards like casting doubt over whether or not there is a 21 million supply. And then in the future, they can just come over to this other fork. It's like Bitcoin never had a supply. It didn't. So a supply cap. Never had one. Doesn't have one now. And, so we'll just go over this other one. It fixes some bugs, some issues that we had before. And, it's the same as old. And that's when it happens. Everyone switches over, doesn't realize they have walked themselves into a trap. So don't walk into the trap. Take over your trap. That's a Mike Tomlinism if you're not a Steelers fan. But if you're a Bitcoiner, we're walking into the trap. They're setting traps everywhere. So take over your trap. Get a BitBox O2 hardware wallet. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you later.